Hi everybody. So I'm doing my case study on my brother Joey. So if you look at the first slide of the background, there's a picture of my brother. He's a 38-year-old male. He has two younger half-siblings. Me and my younger brother were 9 and 10 years younger than Joey. So Joey's background family is a present mother who never used illicit substances. She doesn't drink, nothing. Joey's father was around until Joey was maybe double digits, and then he wasn't around. And then Joey, when he turned 18, wanted to change his last name, and his father wouldn't let him, even though he wasn't active in his life. Joey dropped out of high school. He dropped out in about 10th grade due to fighting and never went back. He's never tried to get his GED. Criminal history throughout his drug addictions relating to drugs, stealing, and different charges for driving while impaired. He's been arrested a few times, and he's got different charges in different counties in PA and New Jersey. Family history. So due to his absent father, he's only close with the mom side of the family. My mother's side of the family has people active in addiction. Probably more people active in addiction than people not in active addiction. And my uncle Les winds up becoming my dad, my father figure for my brother. My brother didn't really have so much friends. It was more so cousins because they were close in age. And all of the cousins close to his age are in active addiction. Probably about 6 or 7 of them, honestly. All of them have it where there's at least one parent who enables their use, and my mom was the person who enabled my brother's drug use, but also while encouraging treatment. So history of use, my brother got into a car accident when he was about 17 years old, 17, 18. Still to this day will not wear a seatbelt because of the experience, and he was prescribed Percocet. He said that the doctor who prescribed him Percocet was kind of crooked. He was talking about that for a little bit. And then after losing the prescription, the doctor not prescribing it to him anymore, he was buying oxycodone off the street, but it became too expensive, and it leads to him using heroin. Joey has never been to a rehab. There was a period of time where he went to Friends Hospital in order to detox. It only lasted a couple days, and it wasn't a good experience at all. So he's never been to rehab because of that. Joey's overdosed 2 different times. A lot of my family members wind up going on to methadone at the time, so it was something that my mother was encouraged to have him do, which later turned into him doing it. So Joey attended the NET program. He started methadone at 23, but walked off the clinic at 150 milligrams as he was non-compliant with his treatment. There was a lot of different times that we were going to drop him off, and he was on hold to see his counselor. He didn't think it was important that he had to see a counselor. He didn't think it was important that he had to follow any kind of treatment. And also that led to him using benzos and alcohol as those things that you're not supposed to use on methadone, which isn't a part of treatment either. So the DSM-5 criteria for opioid use disorder says about how opioids are often taken in larger amounts or over a longer period of time than intended. Persistent desire, unsuccessful efforts to cut down or control opioid use. A great deal of time is spent on activities necessary to obtain the opioid, use it, or recover from its effects. Craving or a strong desire to use. Recurrent use resulting in failure to fulfill major role obligations at work, school, or home. Continued use despite having persistent or recurrent social or interpersonal problems caused or exasperated by the effects of opioids. Important social, occupational, or recreational activities are given up or reduced because of use. Recurrent opioid use in situations in which it's physically hazardous. Continues despite knowledge of having a persistent or recurring physical or psychological problem that is likely to have caused or exasperated by opioids, tolerance, and withdrawal. So in my brother's case, he has majority of these, so he qualifies for an opiate use disorder. So the cycle of change. At the time, for my brother's addiction, he was in the contemplation stage as he, left treatment and honestly didn't believe that he needed to have any kind of treatment. My brother has attended meetings before. My father was pretty into them. He was going to AA meetings, but he never tried any other type of meeting. So barriers for treatment is a lack of knowledge about recovery. I feel like a lot of times when it comes to recovery, everything is through word of mouth from relatives and acquaintances. It's the reason why my brother got onto methadone. Wanting to feel normal. When he was on methadone, he was told there were certain things that he couldn't do. It kind of made him want to do those behaviors more. He was never really a drinker before until starting methadone. because he couldn't do it, and he just wanted to feel like he could go out and have a drink if he wanted to have a drink or be around people, and that his addiction wasn't, causing him to have to change anything. Also, lack of supports. My brother doesn't still kind of really have any kind of friends set up. It was mostly just acquaintances in order for him to go and use. Those are the people that he would talk with. Those were the only kind of conversations that he would have, either about using or about money. And he also didn't really have any kind of motivation for recovery either. So for the theoretical orientation, I picked CBT. In Joey's case, his thoughts mostly were around feeling like he didn't have any kind of value. He dropped out of high school, never wanted to see about going to high school because he constantly had this circle way of thinking he would do this, but then you have to do this first. To get this, you need to do that, and then to do that, you need to do that, and then he would just get himself to the point that he was overwhelmed and wouldn't do anything. So his thoughts were mainly about him being worthless, that he lost his chance to be somebody. From that, he would get emotions of feeling like he was worthless, that there was no point to anything. Majority of his time, it was just spent at home watching movies. He didn't really have anything else, nothing to show for his age. And then me being younger, he would constantly compare us on what we had and what he should have. And then behaviors from that was using to try and escape feeling like he was worthless. And then it would just kind of keep going on and on, because from using, it would just make him feel more worthless. So the CBT approach would be to change the thoughts that he isn't worthless, that he is able to have things, and then try and encourage him to change the thoughts, which would change his feelings, and then also engage in behaviors that would make him feel like he was being productive. Filling out job applications, finding some type of career, doing some kind of training, finding people that understand that he does have value, and going on from that. So a treatment plan would say for him to go to rehab, depending on the level of care that was needed, and then to join an outpatient program, attend meetings for therapeutic support, learn alternative coping skills to manage his emotions, remove triggers when possible, but then also learn how to incorporate the coping skills when needed, so that way he could function. So from all this, currently, Joey was recently married last year, and has 2 sons. Hunter and Levi, so 4 and 2. He's working as a painter. That was typically the kind of work that he did before. It would just be, jobs based off of whoever had work available for him. My uncle also has a business, so he would work every so often with him as well. And Joey recently started his own company. He's got, little cards for it. He's internally motivated to be an active father in the life of his children. That was a big thing for him because of his dad not being active in his life. So it's one of the main reasons why he doesn't use. He's currently prescribed Suboxone. It works for him. He goes and he sees his doctor every month to fill in his prescription, and he's in the process of tapering from that. He also got his marijuana card to assist with anxiety and cravings. So despite not going to meetings, he does recognize that he does have anxiety and that he has to find other ways to cope. And then we also have my references. And that's kind of everything. All right, thank you.